They would rather circle jerk each other and tell themselves that they're good people and whatever reason, instead of actually looking at themselves and be like, okay, I have issues. Like that's what I had to do. Was just like when an instance happened with them where I was like starting to feel like I was no longer a part of the group. I had to look at myself, be like, why? Okay, I know why. I talk about it in therapy. It's like I know I'm not completely to blame. But at some point, you just got to leave because it feels like you're not going to get any better in this environment. You're just going to be more angry. You're going to be more hateful. And at some point, hatred and hatred and what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with an R. Resentment. Thank you. Are going to form. And you don't want to bring yourself down to that point because you've been starting to actually get better now. So you just had to do what you have to do. And I mean, I've talked to people about that situation and I tried to explain to them, like, listen, I'm not happy about my role in it, but I also think that there's as much to blame as I am. They didn't want to listen to that. They just think it's all my fault. So I don't, it's their problem, not mine.
I've been through a few people in that regard.
Yeah.
And you know, there's some points in the rest few months, whatever, that I've questioned, you know, like, hey, was all this shit my fault? And then I had to go into therapy and say, hey, am I in the wrong here? And then she'll tell my therapist, thank God for her, she'll tell me and say, like, why are you thinking so hard to try and get back together with these people? And I'm like,
yeah,
because I have given people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, same.
For a very long time.
Same.
And to ask you this question, I've asked, I did BS sessions with a good friend of mine a couple days ago, and I asked him this question. I'll ask you this: if you could go back in time and change one or two things in your life, but those one or two things would made you the person who you are today, would you still change them?
Ooh. That's a good question.
It's a hard one because it's a hard one.
It's so on the spot that I don't think I have an answer for it right now.
That's okay.
That's like when I have to like sit in silence for a few hours and like really think about it. I don't think you and I have all day for that.
Well, I can tell you Mike's answer was, and who I did BS sessions with a couple days ago. I know
Mike, Air Raid Mike, right?
Yeah, he's fucking awesome. And
yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, I did BS sessions 2 days ago, and I asked him this question. He said, no, I wouldn't change it because I'm a better person now because of those mistakes that I've made. And I said the same thing. I said, you know what? I've done some shitty things in my life. You know, some people may consider me a terrible person. That's fine. I know I'm not. I try to be a good person. And at the end of the day, those mistakes that I made me the person who I am today. And I can learn from those mistakes. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That's how I think about it too. Where it's just like, at some point, people also have to take. I think the problem is nobody in that group took accountability for their own actions.
That's a problem.
Of the time, and to me, that's a problem because, like, I consider myself to be a very, like as you said earlier, like a realist, a very realistic person. When I'm not in my emotional breakdowns, a very logical person, and I kind of look at things from all angles, and I can see why why people feel this way. But I also think in the way where I'm just like, I see why you feel that way. But I don't think this is actually going to happen because I think it's just an overreaction to everything.
You see the flaws in both. You see both sides of every coin.
Yeah,